Welcome aboard. I forgot to install confetti again. It's appreciated. Oh, I just realized they're all hearing me because, I'm not hearing you, they're hearing me. So this is basically an awkward, inadvertent cold open from my end. Greetings in the chat. Carlos Swedish. Bishop. Imprisoned 100. Leg tracking. Well, that's 100 pence. On the bright side, I'm ahead of schedule. Okay, might as well keep this up. Also, greetings, Daddy Young. And, I don't know who asked me about being a Jiggo. But I've never been paid for that. Well, in context, I suppose it would be something I do really. This doesn't mean, you know, for anyone, I suppose. That's why I say at no point did I do that and get paid. I'm not late. Never mind.
Also, shouldn't you start up the screen?
Well, could, yes. Greetings, everyone. I am Director Arketer Labs, as is typically the case. And I trust you'll all understand technical difficulties. Yes, the audio you heard was me talking. What you did not hear was Haven's prompting further. So now it's addressed. Presumably everyone is hearing us now by design, as opposed to just,
yes,
you know, randomly.
I suddenly heard my own voice, so yeah.
Very good. Well, I've already greeted you all, and I'm pleased you're all amused. It was, of course, entirely planned for comedic effect. I'm just that much of an innate comedy master. I blame Arketer for being able to do that without feeling quite as much pain as I would have expected to otherwise. In the low odds you are here for a raffle, I'm sad to report that we are entirely out of keys. Thank you again to one Exodus for providing in the first place. and for a really, I thought was a pretty good climactic final raffle last time with SCP hidden files. So it's just SCPs this time. We're starting with a short one. If you have a request, get it ready. Object SCP-2010. Oh, one more thing. I forgot to do this because we were speaking before the show, thus allowing me to think that I already handled this. Greetings, Haven, for joining me on this particular stream.
Hello. You forgot I was here, didn't you?
No, I didn't forget you were here. I just forgot that, strictly speaking, since we're live, it would be good to introduce you and, thank you for being here live properly, rather than just... Object class, safe. Object storage procedures, SCP-2010, should be kept at Sector 3242 on the second shelf of Secure Storage Vault 4, unless tests are needed. Tests are only to use D-Class personnel, and no other personnel are to observe SCP-2010 for any reason. Do you want to take the paragraph from there?
Yes. Summary. SCP-2010 appears to be a cell phone made by the Apple company. The screen has the phrase prototype scratched into the glass, even though one word is not a phrase. The O's are unusually large. There are no logos on the SCP-2010, as would commonly be found on cell phones of the same brand. SCP-2010 also lacks a battery and does not work properly.
That was a terrible idea. Now I'm going to try to read while dizzy. When a subject touches SCP-2010, the cover of Can't Take My Eyes Off of You by Walk Off the Earth starts to play through unknown means. The subject then drops 2010 once the song starts to play and always falls over near the speakers. They do not move from that spot unless the song is ended. After the song ends, the subject can no longer grasp the concept of eyes. Whenever the subject should sense an eye, they sense an empty area. All test subjects have rejected the fact that they have eyes. Addendum 201001 SP-2010 was recovered under a note that reads... did you want to take this one?
Yeah. Do not send to factory. Object does not work as hoped. We must sort out the homophone problems. We have not a problem because of eyes, no. That was a great error that shall be corrected. We just want that damned character to be expelled from our plane of presence. That lone syllable has been the source of our agony, and our cause cannot rest. We must bury our enemy away from here, and allow the cosmos to be corrupted no longer. The solace of peace shall come soon, brother. The world shall hear our protest song. The order of the four vowels shall succeed. From Prefect Crowley.
Greetings in chat to Horror Hellfire. Thank you. Notably, you're among people quite welcome to join in. Yeah, if you're on Discord or want to show up, just pop in the green room, I'll pull you in. Notably, I prefer to know, like in chat, that you're there, so I know to pull you in. And no obligations. It's just an option you among the others have really always had. Let's see, anyone in chat who snuck in when I wasn't looking? No! Meanwhile, Brad Young has a request that I'm physically capable of granting. I'll take your word for it. If it requires me to do anything for you physically, like any sort of physical contact whatsoever, you are surely correct. We'll never be in the same room. Not as a personal thing. It goes for everyone, really. So, hopefully no offense has been taken. Apparently, according to Simpson 100, there's 3 more likes, and this stream is successful. Haven is quite right. Prototype is not a phrase. It is a word. It will probably never be edited correctly. Did anyone have an SCP request? No? Well, in any case, I do wish I could get my hands on SCP-2010. Not that I would use it myself, because of course I never have. I made a very clear point that at no point have I used SCP-2010. I totally know that eyes are a real thing, and I have them, too.
I don't think you do.
Of course I do, but no one will ever necessarily be able to prove that, and that's irrelevant. Suffice to say, though, I should happily... Say, Brad Young, are you aware that I can actually see behind myself at almost any given time? Naturally, with my eyes, because I'm observing consoles and screens that show me and behind me. It's sorry to spoil your fun on that one. Greetings, your boy Pat. You're also welcome to join in, by the way. I saw a bit of your stream earlier, by the way, your boy Pat, but I should probably discuss that towards the end. Remember, all YouTube creators, towards the end of my stream, you are all welcome to promote your own stuff. Like the last 10 minutes, just go hog wild. Most of you have wrenches, so you can put out links even.
You know, I really like it when people are named Pat, because in Danish that means boob.
Da, 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 da. It does not look like we have an SCP request, but that's all right. I was prepared unusually for this eventuality. We shall move on with SCP-2731, which was, well, actually requested by Kaylit, but this is not really a request when they quite plainly say, "Your boy boob." Sorry.
Your boy boob. Is that what they said?
They didn't. It's not my fault, Pat. It's this filthy foreigner who has corrupted me with knowledge about their language. Or someone else's language,
Hey,
I'm not really sure.
I like to have you know that I shower regularly, so I'm not a filthy foreigner.
Okay. This clean and well-groomed foreigner has corrupted me with knowledge of the language. And I can't get it out of my head.
Also,
I feel like this was more widely known. Saturday Night Live's It's Pat skits were probably been much shorter.
So, whenever you play your next survival game and you have a pickaxe, just remember that pick is the Danish word for like man's genitalia.
Wait a second. What's the Finnish word for that? Is that
Danish.
Danish. Sorry.
P-I-K, but it's pronounced the exact same way as pick in pickaxe.
I see.
It was very fun to be me as a child, and I started playing those types of games.
Calling people a pick? And a dick axe
does sound like
around. Is very alarmingly easy to picture.
Yes.
In any case, item SCP-2731, object class Euclid. The floor containing SCP-2731 is covered at all times in cast iron platform that conceals and protects SCP-2731. The platform is to be coated in non-slip padding and fitted with a bolted trapdoor that can be unbolted and opened to reveal a second layer, a cavity containing SCP-2731, and protected by a secondary door, only accessible with level 2 or above clearance. Feel free to take the...
Yes. The shaft inside SCP-2731 is to be capped with a padded iron insert that can be removed from above. Do not dig into, drill into, or otherwise damage the SCP-2731 shaft from within.
I can take the next one. That was pretty brief.
Description. SCP-2731 is an aperture built into the floor of a stockroom of Redacted, a grocery store in Asheville, North Carolina. The aperture is concealed by a square iron door which is 2 centimeters thick, 0.7 meters wide, and designed to be flush with the surrounding floor. The door in the room containing SCP-2731 slopes down towards the aperture in all directions, possibly to allow for drainage.
SCP-2731 connects to a shaft which extends downward approximately 40 meters before opening into an extensive artificial cavern system. See Exploratory Log 2731-1999. As all imaging and exploratory measures taken have been able to locate the cavern system, it is believed to be extra-dimensional. A plaque is affixed to the underside of SCP-2731, which reads as follows: This portal installed September 1951 under contract for Richard & Sons Gateway Service.
According to interviews with owners and employees of the business, SCP-2731 was inactive or inaccessible until August 10th, 1998, when it was altered by members of Richard & Sons, the same organization which originally placed it. See the Groups of Interest file appropriate for your clearance level. The Foundation has attempted to contact Richard & Sons via telephone number provided on the business card provided to the attending cashier, but received an automated report stating that the number is out of service.
Closed circuit surveillance records of Richard & Sons' time inside the premises housing SCP-2731 have been obtained and catalogued. A transcript follows. We have dialogue between Operative A and the cashier, and Operative B. Any,
I'll be the cashier.
Okay then. Two Richard & Sons agents, designated here as Operative A and Operative B, enter the building and approach a cashier. Ma'am, could you please direct us to your storeroom?
Excuse me?
We received a call about a stuck furnace cover in the premises. We're here to repair it. Here's our card. Operative B produces a business card from his shirt pocket and hands it to the cashier. Those are the new ones, the right number, aren't they? I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to have to talk to the manager.
That's great. That's fine, we'll be right here. Cashier walks through to the station. What was that? I was just trying to be friendly. I can handle it. Store manager approaches.
What's this about?
We're here to repair stuck furnace cover, sir. Did you have a card? Operative produces a business card, gives it to the manager.
Alright. So you're a repairman here to fix a furnace cover?
A furnace cover. You can't leave it stuck. It causes all kinds of problems. It can be a healthcare violation. He's actually right.
How long is this going to take?
10-15 minutes tops, make sure everything's working. We'll be in and out.
Well, alright. I can take you to our heating controls.
No thanks, sir. We can find it from here. The officers walk toward the storeroom. I just remembered, I got a call from someone looking for some major installation work. What's the site? I think it's a Satanist club or something out in Hendersonville. Jesse? Operative A stops the door squirm. I gotta ask you a question. Do you remember what it says on our van? Operative A points with his thumb towards the parking lot. Richard & Sons, serving Greater Asheville for generations. We give you a hell of a deal? Greater Asheville. Do you know what that means? I guess it starts the library. It means Greater God-dang Asheville. We're local business, family-run. We provide niche service to a very specific area. Are you going to pay for your own goddamn gas money and van maintenance to head out the fucking sticks to open a demon hole at some redneck's cabin? No, sir. You worked at Domino's for this. You should know this shit. The operatives enter the stockroom, open the toolbox, and get to the garage. Operative B hands Operative A the electronic device. Operative A activates it. Remaining surveillance footage unusable due to radio interference. Instant recording ends 3 minutes 27 seconds. Exploration Log 27311909. As interference with an SCP-2731 makes use of unmanned reconnaissance devices, video surveillance unfeasible, which means they should probably choose a wired. They can shield a wire. Well, never mind. An agent was sent into the SCP-2731 shaft with an analog audio recording device, transcript as follows. Shall we trade off on this one? I don't think there's much more dialogue. It's basically a monologue.
Coming down. These walls look and feel like sandstone. I bumped into it a few seconds ago, and it scraped like hell.
I'm in an antechamber now. The floor is covered in liquid up to my toes. Something pinkish and viscous. Hear that? That's my boots.
Massive floor in front of me. Inscription reads, Dulcis casus ad inferna. As if I remember my Latin 102, that's the descent to hell is sweet. A creaking sound is audible.
Christ, cold air just smacked me in the face, but I think the smell is worse. Proceeding through.
The smell's not going away. It's sickly sweet and chemical, like sticking to a head in a freezer that's been broken for a week. I'm in a long, narrow hallway, and the walls are lined with rows of tiny metal prongs. Melon baller things. There's sticky residue in those too.
Shit. I glanced back and saw something cross through the walkway at the end. I think I'll go left and avoid it. I see a plaque over the entryway. It says, Destructores Dentium. Destroying teeth? All capital letters.
Okay, this is massive. The hall circles around a column here, and I can see rooms with 4-meter ceilings at least. There's vats of something down there, and creatures milling around them. If I can get a good look without being noticed.
The workers here are stout little bastards, maybe 1.5 meters tall, wedge-shaped, white, lumpy, no necks. Their little white heads have these red and blue pustules. I think those are horns. I can see their breath. Some are operating machinery. Some are just watching and laughing. A lot of them are holding pole arms with concave hollows on the end. Giant spoons.
There is no spoon. There are tubes running down from the ceiling over the vats, and every so often a worker pulls a lever that releases something into them. I'm seeing... Is that broken glass? That one has syringes, something covered in mold, and teeth. And then they stir the vats with their paddles and go again.
There's an opening in the central column here, and a spiral stairway inside. The pathway's clear, so I'm heading down.
It's warming up as I go. I can feel my fingers again. I'm at the next floor down, and it's probably 35-40 degrees in this room. Plaque over entry says, Pergamenta classificantia, fattening garbage. I hope I'm pronouncing these right.
The structure is the same, but the workers are a little taller and ganglier here. About my height. Still paying no attention to me. I guess I'm being pretty quiet. I can't hear myself over that grinding metal. I think everything here is made of rusty iron.
I think whatever they're working with might be temperature dependent. A worker cranks a scoop that tears out lumps into the vat and into something tan. Is that batter? And then it flips it again into a basin of hot oil. Across from it, another worker has massive lumps of the stuff dropped into a sizzling flat stone. Liquid runoff flows through channels into a basin. By the vapor tumbling out, I guess it's full of liquid nitrogen. And then a tray is pulled out, and the runoff has been flash frozen into tiny balls. And they get dumped out into a heap of 100,000 frozen balls.
They look like that stuff I got at theme parks when I was a kid. Flash frozen. What the fuck was it called? The ice cream dots, which I remember from my own youth, and those things were awful. The foam packing, never mind. Go on.
Motherfuck, it's ice cream. It's all ice cream.
I need to take a break here. I feel like I've been in here for 4 hours. Actual exhibition time at this point, 97 minutes. This room's the size of an airplane hangar, and the air is really thick.
You know, I can sort of understand this. I was a fat kid. I have food issues, but this...
All right, I'm going down again.
Latin is tumidae saccharis. Too much sugar. Hotter in here. Gotta be 50 degrees. Ice cream demons half again as tall as me, spooning ice cream along from room to room. I see a child. They give it a cone, and it stands there, staring blankly at it without moving, until its hand quivers and the scoop falls off into sand. This happens 20 or 30 times until the sand cream slurry is raked away into a pit and replaced with clean sand. I didn't even move the kid off. He's replaced too. I just hope that it's some kind of mannequin.
Now that I know what it is, I can pick out flavors from their scents. Hundreds of pounds of cherry getting burned, boiled, refrozen, vanilla floating in punch bowls and mock parties, while the guests mindlessly walk around and ignore it, each one a little more dissolved. Something just called out, and the people are mumbling, lactose intolerant.
Mint, blackberry, rocky road, all these flavors are sluicing down in front of a line of people that runs out into a door. The one in front keeps acting like he's going to point to one, but he never does. Would they care if I threw up in here? Because... what the fuck? I just heard one of those big ones speak English.
It said, "The scoop must suffer."
I think I understand the evil they see.
I'm going to take a closer look at this vat. It's unattended, and a giant fleshy tentacle is hanging from the ceiling. No, it's too wide and flat. This is more like a tongue, and it's just hanging there. Do the ice creamers get that big?
Now it's licking the sides, not touching the ice cream, just the middle. I don't know if the sound is picking up over the mechanisms, but the scraping.
I think I can hold my lunch down long enough to take a sample. I don't have a tiny spoon, but if I'm fast, I can just scoop some of my hand into the jar. I don't think they'll notice. Shit! Recording ends. Agent resurfaced 6 hours following entry, lacking his sample jar and gloves, but claiming to have blacked out as his stomach was being pumped. The agent was treated for frostbite, but no permanent physical damage occurred. Agent is currently in therapy to overcome persistent intrusive thoughts regarding the sins of ice cream, which affect his eating habits. So,
Also, Snoopy SN100 just said that we have 13 likes.
Huzzah! The stream is now a success! Thank you all! 13 likes. Success. By the only metric that was remotely plausible in this context, but no less appreciated. Although, just to be safe, I should... well, arbitrarily load something. Oh no. In any case, while I'm buying time in one way, I'll buy time in another. Where was I? This, by the way, is apparently an ice cream a portal to ice cream hell. And curiously enough, apparently a portal to hell for ice cream. Like, this is... well, ostensibly there's a hell for everything, and apparently in this case, in this reality, there is a hell for ice cream. For ice cream that has been bad, perhaps ice cream that has had, I don't know, glass, teeth, bits of mold, why not mixed into it? I don't know what makes the ice cream itself sinful enough to be damned for eternity, but that's apparently what's going on here. Although it would seem that it extends to some degree to the ostensible human people who spend their eternity dropping ice cream cones or milling around punch bowls but never actually touching it.
I kind of want to guess that it's more like hell for people who has issues with ice cream in some way. Like, for example, the lactose intolerant people, it would be hell if they saw all of these delicious, delicious flavors, but they couldn't have any of them because it was going to give them the highway traffic out the bum.
But see, then the hell for them would be made to actually eat the ice cream, which never happens. They just leave it. Except for the kid, of course, who apparently just gets shunted down some sort of infernal garbage dispute after every time he drops enough cone. Mind you, considering we know what they put in those ice cream cones, not really surprising he would drop it every time. I assume he knows too, or at least they all do before they get tossed in the trash and eventually replaced. But ice creamins, everyone. Ice creamins. Notably, this again seems to be the ice cream itself being punished. Remember, this scoop must suffer. Which I guess means that if any of you are lactose intolerant or have to avoid sugar like I typically do, then you're apparently hated by the very concept of ice cream itself.
I mean, you can get lactose-free ice cream. Some of it's actually pretty decent.
I'll take your word for it being decent.
Or if, in the case of that, you need to not intake as much sugar, you can actually make your own ice cream and not add sugar. It's not difficult.
I've noticed that difficulty is, in many regards, a matter of personal habit and experience with things. Suffice to say, I don't think I'm going to be finding the time anytime soon. In any case, that's fine. I'll stick to my high-protein diet and occasional rare spree in certain contexts. In any case, we are done with this particular SCP. Any further thoughts on it, Haven, chance?
No, I enjoyed it.
It's a novel one. I do remember it. It's been done before. Or it's read before by me. I don't know if it was ever done
I just don't see how it's I just don't see how it's Euclid.
Well, probably because well, it's got a bunch of wandering ice creamins inside that could potentially try to get out.
I'm just like, if you just lock off the room and leave it be, it's not like they would be heading outside.
Well, this would, of course, hinge upon the idea they can't break out from within. Which, if they can so much as try, and that's not confirmed that they can't, it's at least Euclid. Because there are autonomous things in it that are, well, potentially capable of doing something other than they've been rather bizarrely programmed to do. So, I'm going to stand by with correct classification on this one. I would not call this safe. The door is safe. What's behind it is not.
Okay, I can agree to that. I was focusing on the door because it says that the object itself is the door.
They consider the whole thing the object, like the shaft inside SCP-2731. So, I'm thinking the entire thing is considered it. But, well, possibly the gate. Let's see, we are doing well so far. Being the one to have randomly plucked this number from my fleshy mind orb, I believe this has been the greatest SCPs.
Yay!
Well, it's not a bad one. Greatest SCPs? That's contentious. It's a high bar. I'm not sure I can concur. Yes. We don't seem to have a further SCP request. Even, please remember that you're also free to make your own requests, especially when the chat isn't paying attention and doesn't have anything to put forward. That's fine, though. This next one's a fun one, and one of the most recent. We know this because it's in the 7,000 range, and that makes it fairly modern. I think it's something we'll all be able to rate to.
Before we begin, though, I just wanted to remind you of that one time when I suggested a random number off the top of my head, and we went into half an hour overtime.
Yes, that's only jokingly your fault. Unless, of course, you knew we'd do that, in which case it's entirely your fault. But you said randomly, so ergo, not. That's just my poor luck, really. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. I'm not holding a grudge in the slightest.
Praise
Item.
be unto thee, O dice god.
I don't particularly like that phrasing for it, but I think we'll all recognize what's being discussed here. Item 7014, containment class, it's pending apparently. They haven't decided. Which, given the nature of it, yeah, it's fair. There's research ongoing apparently into SCP-7014. It's got an assigned Site 55. The site director is Dr. Don Grand. Research head is Dr. Paul Ervale. It has no assigned task force because there's no way you can assign a task force to it. Special containment procedures. Well, would you rather do this or the description?
I'll do the special containment procedures. There are currently no known methods of containing, negating, or manipulating SCP-7014's influence upon normal probability. However, due to the extremely specific nature of SCP-7014's manifestation and the fact that it does not occur under test conditions, it's extremely unlikely that the general population will become aware of its existence. As an additional precaution, the Disinformation Bureau will continue to promote the notion that dice having personalities is merely a widespread joke amongst the tabletop gaming community and the result of selection bias.
Description. SCP-7014 is an apparently anomalous phenomenon which affects the probability of dice results when rolled as part of a tabletop role-playing game. Individual dice can be affected by SCP-7014 in several ways, including showing a preference for certain numbers or displaying different probability distributions depending on what they are being rolled to accomplish.
As far as has been assessed, the SCP-7014 appears to act upon dice exclusively when they are being rolled for a particular purpose within the context of a tabletop RPG. When the same dice are rolled purely to record their results, those results are typically in accordance with standard probability expectations and show no anomalous variation.
An example of a high roller or lucky die has been included below. Experiment designation 7014-D20-A190. Methodology. The experiment was carried out using a fair 20-sided die, RD20. The die was rolled 1,000 times in test conditions and 1,000 times in a game of Dungeons & Dragons. The latter was purportedly representing a series of attacks made against an army of goblins with 1 hit point each. The die was rolled by Dr. Uvale in both cases. Dr. Uvale used a dice cap in both instances. High-speed cameras were used to monitor whether the die moved in any way unusually while being rolled. Result, test conditions 4.5. Game conditions, 2.8. Do we really want to go through all these numbers? So I have to say, I think we can see a theme here.
I would rather not.
Test conditions, 4.6. Game conditions, 3.3. Suffice to say, the results seem to be visibly stranger when part of the game. All dice affected by SCP-7014 appear to follow certain patterns of behavior rather than disrupting probability at random. Testing so far suggests that there are at least 7 distinct categories of affected dice. At present, these categories have not been formalized and represent a working hypothesis only. Categories as follows. We can surely trade off on these. Care to start us off?
Yeah, high rollers. Dice which have higher probability rolling results that are above their median value.
Low rollers. Dice which have a higher probability of rolling results that are below their median value. And greetings in chat. Dragonath on our soul.
All reliables. Dice which have a favorite side. The probability of rolling that result is significantly higher than normal, while the chances of landing on any other side are roughly equal.
Shy guys. Dice which have an increased probability of low rolls at the start of a game, but shift to an increased probability of high results the longer the game goes on.
Specialists. Dice which will display apparently normal properties until a certain in-game condition is met, which will cause the dice's probability to shift. For example, D20 A068 has significantly increased chance of rolling a high number when attempting to attack mind flayers in Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice.
Yeah.
Loyalists. Dice which have a higher probability of rolling results that are above their median value so long as they're rolled by a specific person. When anyone else rolls them, their anomalous properties cease to function.
Traitors. Dice that seemingly wish to harm the player characters, the PCs. They have a higher probability of rolling results that are below their median value when rolled by an ordinary player, but a higher probability of rolling results that are above the median value when rolled by a games master. That is a traitor.
Yep. Addendum interview log. We have 2 roles, Dr. Singh or Dr. Uvale. It's Paul Uvale and Uma Singh, so I think unless we want to just invert it for funsies, you might prefer Uma.
Yeah, I'll be Uma Singh.
Okay, forward. The following interview was to ascertain the level of progress that had been made by Dr. Uvale and his team into the study of SCP-7014 and to assess whether maintaining this level of research was the best possible use of Foundation assets and resources. Begin log.
Alright, it's on. Progress report interview regarding study of SCP-7014 phenomenon. Yada yada yada.
So, is this the bit where you bang your fist on the table and tell me I have 24 hours and not the case?
Oh, you've heard.
Well, not exactly. It was more of a guess. The comments on our data submissions have been a little, less than flattering of late, and we don't usually have talks this formal for a progress report that I could send over an email. Not that it would say very much at the moment.
That is sort of the problem.
Yes, I gathered.
Paul, look, you know this isn't coming from me. It's just that some of the higher-ups are getting a little bit angsty that they're, well, just paying you and a bunch of researchers to play Dungeons and Dragons every day.
It is necessary for the tests.
I told them that.
And it's not like with the amount of dice we have to roll, we get much time to actually enjoy the games.
I told them that too.
And anyway, my group has moved on to Pathfinder now.
Is there a difference?
Oh yes, very much so. The Pathfinder First Edition was based on D&D 3.5e, but mechanically there are actually quite a lot of differences, especially between Pathfinder 2e, which is what we're using now, and the modern D&D 5e. Personally, I think a lot of people just default to the D&D because it's the one that gets shown in the media all the time, but honestly I think Pathfinder has a lot more depth to it and a much stronger combat system. Plus, Wizards of the Coast aren't exactly the nicest corporations. Not that I can talk exactly working here, but
What I actually meant, Paul, was, is there any difference in SCP-7014's effect using a different game?
oh, right, of course, yes. I mean, no, sorry, not a lot. So far, all tests have shown near identical probability distributions.
I see. Well, data is still data, I suppose. Something to put in the report.
Look, I am sorry, Uma. I know that you're aiming for something a little higher up the promotions ladder, and this project isn't exactly, 5-level stuff. Goodness knows we need more people like you at the top. You shouldn't have gotten stuck with us.
Oh, it's certainly not you, this project, though. It's honestly so annoying. It should be an exciting area of research, you know? This is a global anomaly that alters one of the foundational laws of our universe. It completely violates our current understanding of reality. It should be a big-ticket item, but it only seems to affect how dice roll in a children's game. It's like it was designed specifically to spite me.
Tabletop role-playing games are actually mainly marketed towards adults.
Right.
I mean,
of course.
Children can
Sorry.
certainly play, but usually you'd have to simplify the rules for them because... Oh, never mind. Anyway, how long have we got until they pull the plug on us?
Downgrade the project's priority, I imagine. They won't completely abandon it, not while we still have no idea what's going on. And I don't know, they didn't say. I don't suppose, by any chance, you're on the verge of a major breakthrough?
Not as far as I'm aware, sorry.
Pity. Are you any closer to determining what SCP-7014 actually is? You know, how much they hate things being left under pending?
Not as such. I have three, well, I wouldn't call them theories. I don't think I'd even want to call them hypotheses. But I have three working guesses at the moment.
Go on.
Number one, this is just a random secondary effect of some other anomaly we haven't discovered, or a quirky byproduct of some group or other messing around with something they shouldn't.
Very helpful.
I thought you'd like that one. Maybe Gamers Against Weed have started a binge watching Critical Role, who knows?
And your second idea?
Are you very familiar with the meta-science of belief?
It sounds like a cult.
No. It's a set of theories about how human belief, or sapient belief, I suppose, might shape the reality around us.
Faith moving mountains?
Well, yes and no. It's small things like pataphysics, living stories, consciousness dreams, demons and divinities, those types of entities. The theory basically goes that when we believe in a thing, talk about a thing, tell stories about a thing, we are bestowing it with some degree of reality. We give it a shape, a presence, and it's certainly uncommon for anomalies to stumble out of the human mind. Hell, Site-171 is built around a self-declared Earth God in a rock pillar who claims he was worshipped into being.
Alright, so?
So answer me this. Why do these entities have to be in monoliths and books and creepy statues? Why couldn't they be, say, little plastic polyhedrons? What if, over years and years of people begging dice for the results they want, offering up prayers to Jesus, Dr. Foley makes air quotes, even as a joke, what if it made these dice into something more? After all, it does only work when we want to play with him, doesn't it? Remind you a little of the double-slit experiment. If observations can alter probability and reality on a micro level, then why not believe? It would make perfect sense why they show standard probability distribution under test conditions. I mean, no one's ever yearned for a die to roll a natural 20 whilst being rolled to collect scientific data.
Okay, I'll buy that. That's interesting. That very interesting, actually. Do you have any evidence for this?
Not at all, naturally.
Oh, I was getting kind of hopeful there.
Sorry about that. We've had the dice investigated for any signs of life, psychics, mind readers, empaths, absolutely nothing.
Damn. And the third idea?
Well, that one's my favourite. Idea 3 is that there are just some nerdy extra-dimensional beings out there who really like TTRPGs. Dr. Odell clasps his hands together in mock prayer and turns his eyes healing. Praise be unto thee, O dice gods, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you for taking this so seriously.
My pleasure.
I suppose there's still one other possibility you haven't mentioned.
Oh, what's that?
That all of this is just one big coincidence.
Quite unlikely, I think.
But still hypothetically possible. I mean, you were the one who brought up the double-slit experiment. The simple multiverse theory is right. And every possibility happens somewhere, then at least one universe would have to have every single dice fall just the way they have here, purely by chance. And just be that we're hanging out at the far end of a weird-ass probability curve, and all of the work you've done means absolutely nothing.
Well, gee. Thanks for that, Uma.
You're most welcome.
You know, sometimes I really hate this job. Dissecting the unholy secrets of the universe is all fun and good, but it would be nice if you could flip to the back of the textbook now and then and take a peek at the solutions.
Chin up, Doctor. As you said, it's quite unlikely. I mean, honestly, what are the chances?
Enog.
I like Dr. Singh.
I quite like Dr. Ivale. In any case, Greetings in chat to Raven, Quasi-Crafter, and let's see, I think that's about it for the new arrivals.
Crazy Crafter says, "Wazza!"
Meanwhile, Raven, you've been gifted a wrench, Quasi-Crafter. You should be equipped similarly in just a moment. Please don't use it for anything unless, of course, you are a creator in your own right and would like to promote something that you do. Because we are in the final 13 minutes, and in 3 more minutes I will have absolutely no objection whatsoever to any other YouTube creators or streamers, what have you, promoting whatever else they might like to, even with links. Just, you know, please something you've done. I'm not really wanting to invite random porn bots in, just for the record. This is just a sort of courtesy thing.
It's something that I'm curious about. To Crazy Crafter, is it pronounced crazy or is it pronounced crassy? I just want to be
It's
correct.
written quasi, so I'm going to say.
Yeah.
If you want crazy, well then I guess they need to change the name. Sorry.
True.
Them's the breaks.
Them's the breaks.
Now, if you want to present articles, that's a regular thing as well. Do you have access to the Arklab's Volunteer Reserve Discord server? Because you all should. And Stormraven 204, also proving out the wrench, has stressed, "Hello, Haven." I assume you saw that because you responded with
Yeah.
emoji. And it'd be really weird if you just arbitrarily put an emoji in the chat and it wasn't a response to that. But now we're thoroughly sure that you've been made aware that you've been greeted.
I already said Stormy.
Would you perhaps be interested in reading SP3043? Yes. If he had been here a bit earlier, we'd have done that one instead of one of these ones we've already done. And we do have another 12 minutes. Let's see how long SCP-3043 is. Because that one might still be a bit too long in the time remaining, but we'll see.
Murphy's Law in Type 3043 for murder. That's a funny name. You would know that if you did it the correct way instead of just changing the URL.
Yeah, it's too many. Let's see. This looks like a trap.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a trap.
Yes.
Maybe save it for next time. It's gonna take a long time to read through all of this.
You know, and to think, this isn't the one they said they thought might be a bit too long.
Yeah. I mean, if we don't do all of the talks, but only do the end part, which is the revised article, then it's fine. But you wouldn't have the context.
That's
of
true.
everything else.
That's true. Okay, I suggest a compromise. We're going to read this one, and then we're going to end it, and then I'll start with it from scratch next time. Because I also don't want to go into a full overtime for an hour. I mean, I'm not commissioned. Notably, if there's anyone who really wants me to read something, I can be paid. It's one of those things I'm perfectly willing to do for just even really rather small sums. Just throwing that out there. Otherwise, I will, of course, use more flexibility on my end. So let's see.
Oh no, it's a spoiler alert for it. For what happens.
You know, we'll just start with 3043 next time. And I'm thinking we're not going to be able not going to really be fitting in the next 9 minutes. So, let's see. Other suggestions were
002.
7:43:002.
It's not too bad. We can read that in 10 minutes.
We don't have 10 minutes. But I can
Well,
also,
9 minutes.
maybe reside myself to not be quite so neurotic. Okay, we've got a bit of overtime to cover SCP-002. Greetings, Blade Elite Nexus Hunter.
He Nexus.
And I'll try and remember to start with 3043 next time. Should probably write that down somewhere. Let's see, where's my suggestions channel? Yeah. 3043 marked. I will get into that on the next SCP review. Meanwhile, item SCP-002, object class Euclid. Do you want to start off with the containment procedures?
Yes.
Go on.
Special containment procedures. SCP-002 is to remain connected to a suitable power supply at all times to keep it in what appears to be a recharging mode in case of electrical outage. The emergency barrier between the object and the facility is to be closed and the immediate area evacuated. Once facility power is re-established, alternating bursts of X-ray and ultraviolet light must strobe the area until SCP-002 is reaffixed to the power supply and returned to recharging mode. Containment area is to be kept at negative air pressure at all times.
Teams, including a minimum of 2 members, are required within 20 meters of SCP-002 or its containment area. Personnel should maintain physical contact with one another at all times to confirm there is another person present, as perceptions may be dulled, skewed, or influenced by proximity to the object.
No personnel below level 3 are permitted within SCP-002. The requirement may be waived via written authorization from 2 offside level 4 administrators. Command staff issued such a waiver must be escorted by at least 5 level 3 security personnel for the duration of their contact and must temporarily surrender their rank and security clearance. Following contact, command staff will be escorted at least 5 kilometers away from SCP-002 to undergo a 72-hour quarantine and psychological evaluation. If deemed fit for return to duty by psych staff, rank and security clearance may be restored when quarantine expires.
Description. SCP-002 resembles a tumorous fleshy growth, the volume of roughly 60 squared or 2,000 feet squared. And cubic, whatever. An iron valve hatch on one side leads to interior, which appears to be a standard low-rent apartment of modest size. One wall of the room possesses a single window, though no such opening is visible from the exterior. The room contains furniture which, upon close examination, appears to be sculpted bone, woven hair, and various other biological substances produced by the human body. All matter tested thus far show independent or fragmented DNA sequences for each object in the room. Refer to the Mulhausen report, cross-reference document. No one cares for details related to object's discovery.
Reference. To date, subject has been responsible for the disappearance of 7 personnel. It has also, in its time at the facility, further furnished itself with 2 lamps, a throw rug, a television, a radio, a beanbag chair, 3 books in an unknown language, 4 children's toys, and a small potted plant. Tests with... I want to say an partridge in a pear tree, but it didn't seem proper.
Too soon. We're getting close to Christmas.
Tests with a variety of lab animals, including higher primates, have failed to provoke a response in SCP-002. Cadavers as well fail to produce any effect. Whatever process the subject uses to convert organic matter into furnishings is apparently only facilitated by the introduction of living humans.
View Mulhausen report. The Mulhausen report. The following is a brief report detailing the discovery of SCP-002.
Do
Excuse
you
me?
want to start or should I?
Well, I just had to sneeze violently at the moment there, so...
Oh.
You could have taken over if you want, and I would have just rolled with it as a good excuse to sneeze violently, but I'm already done, so I'm just moving on. The subject was discovered in a small crater in northern Portugal, where it struck the Earth from orbit. Encased in a shell of thick rock, the flesh exterior of the object was exposed by the impact. A native farmer happened upon the site and reported his findings to the village elder. Subject gained SB attention when a level 4 agent posted in the area detected a small radioactive anomaly generated by the object.
A collection squad of SCP security personnel led by General Mulhausen was immediately dispatched to the area, where they quickly secured the object in a large container and performed initial testing with subjects recruited from the nearby village. 3 men individually sent into the structure subsequently disappeared. Upon discovering this deadly property of the subject, General Mulhausen issued a level 4A termination order of any witnesses, roughly 1/3 of the village, to ensure no outside knowledge of the object, initiated its transport to SCP facility data expunged.
Which, by the way, stresses we have one of the Idiot Foundation iterations here, because that's fucktarded. It's deadly, so we should kill the people to protect them from being killed by the anomaly. Also, those are D classes they're sending in there. General Mulhausen, I can only hope, is a nice rug in there somewhere. But I suppose that's hoping too much. During preparation transport, 4 SB security personnel were inexplicably drawn inside the object, where they too immediately disappeared. Mulhausen? Following inspection, it appeared as if the object had grown several new furnishings and was beginning to look like the interior of an apartment room. General Mulhausen immediately ordered the requisition of several Class 3 hazmat suits for the remaining security team members, who proceeded to lift the container into a waiting freight ship transport to the SP containment facility. Data expunged. Data expunged. Following the termination of General Mulhausen. Yay! SP-002 was resecured by SP staff and brought into special containment in Classified, where it currently resides. Staff with clearance level below level 3 have been denied access to SP-002 container without prior approval, at least 2 level 4 staff after the Mulhausen incident. That idiot.
Yes.
That bloody-minded dafter. Mulhausen, no one mourns you, and I would piss on your grave. If it didn't require me going into the meatball apartment, which I wouldn't do for any reason, because that's a dumb thing to do for any reason. Okay. We're up to 18 likes, making this an especially successful stream.
Give me a second. Can we get much higher? There we go.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated indeed. And just in time. No less.
So Snoopy SN100 is trying to write in Danish.
Gesundheit indeed. And good Velsigne dig dig Snoopy. Up 20 likes. That's all. SP Meatwad. Meatwad's much nicer. I'm just trying to figure out how it's almost certainly the work of those Sarkic assholes. It would be easy to guess, except for the fact that it came down in a meteor. Which doesn't necessarily rule out the Sarkic asshats, because they're really big on making deals with, well, entities from other realities. Some of which might very well airdrop a delivery from space as a meteor. Any case. Oh, God, thank you, Service 100. We're done here. I'm wrapping things up. I have been Director of Arketer Labs, as you all surely already knew. Tomorrow is the next SRS on a site that rhymes with Bumble. I presume you already know about it. If you don't, and are a member of the Archives Volunteer Reserve Discord server, well then you should just keep an eye on General, where I will, as with this stream, promote it, or follow my Twitter account, where I will also promote it, or hang out in various assorted Discord servers, including Horror and Hellfires, where I will also promote it in shilling and so on. I have been informed, by the way, that my notifications are more reliable than both YouTube and Rumble's. Much more reliable. So you should probably listen to my notifications and not relying on theirs, because they're unreliable.
I was just gonna say that you said it rhymes with Bumble, so maybe you just want to see them on dating websites, I don't know.
Nope, nor will you find me on any dating site whatsoever, past or present. Just for the record. Never again. Okay, well then. After that, I don't think I have any major announcements that aren't already covered in my regular schedule, so until next time, so long as progress continues, success is inevitable. Bye.
Bye.
Look.